Muscle hypertrophy syndrome. Now, muscle hypertrophy syndrome is a condition that gives you super strength and increased muscle mass like the Hulk and Superman. Well, that's a little exaggerated, but the syndrome makes your muscles grow twice as big as that of an average person and would also make you twice as strong. Think of it as having a personal trainer in your DNA. The best part? You don't need to hit the gym or lift weights to maintain your build. This disorder is caused by a genetic mutation of a particular protein that is supposed to tell your muscles when to stop growing. So when this protein is unavailable, your muscles just keep increasing and expanding like they're on an endless buffet. One of the most famous cases of this syndrome is Liam Hoekstra, aka Mini Hulk. As an infant, Liam had bulky leg muscles, like someone who never skipped a leg day in the womb. He literally came out of the womb jacked. Liam was already walking by the time he turned 6 months old, and by 8 months old, he could literally do pull-ups. By age 3, Liam had 40% muscle mass and could lift 3-kilogram dumbbells. He was stronger than most adults and could move furniture around like they were toys. However, having this condition means you have a supercharged metabolism, so you'll need to eat a lot more than kids your age. It's like having the appetite of a teenage T-Rex. And here's the cherry on top, this condition has no known medical complications, so you get to enjoy all the benefits of being super strong without a single drawback. In other words, people with this condition pretty much won the genetic lottery. Polymelia. If you are a fan of Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants, then you have a good idea of what an octopus looks like, which is essentially what the condition called polymelia would turn you into. A living, breathing human octopus, minus the ability to breathe underwater. Instead of tentacles, you'll be born with an extra arm, leg, fingers, or toes. So basically, while everybody else is rocking the standard 2 arms, you might be flaunting 3 or even 4. Just imagine the power you'd wield at a basketball game with 4 arms and legs. However, before you get too excited about your potential superpowers, keep in mind that these extra limbs could be shrunken, deformed, and could pop up anywhere on your body. Sometimes they may be fully normal sized, but do not function as well as the regular limbs. Now, the cause of this abnormal growth of limbs is widely unknown and extremely rare. In fact, it's estimated to occur in less than 1 in 1 million births each year. Bbok Vise disease. So, you go to the amusement park with a group of friends and there's this particular roller coaster ride that everyone is terrified of. I mean, they're looking at it like it's the final destination in a horror movie game. But you, being the daredevil you are, pay for your tickets and get on board. As the ride starts, your friends are literally screaming their lungs out. Some are even fainting mid-ride, making it look like a scene straight out of a disaster movie. But there you are, cool as a cucumber, calmly playing a crossword puzzle as if you're lying in bed and not sitting on a scary high-speed ride hundreds of meters above the ground. And honestly, you don't even understand why everyone is acting like they're on a one-way trip to Terror Town. And it's not just the roller coasters. You're not fazed by spiders, paper cuts, or even the idea of a snake coming out of your toilet. While your friends think you're just the ultimate badass, the reality is that you have a condition known as Bbok Vise disease, an extremely rare genetic disease that makes you fearless. This happens when your amygdala, your brain's fear center, shrinks or hardens. Well, as cool as it might sound not to be afraid of anything, this disorder can actually cause you more harm than good because fear is necessary for survival. Hyperthymesia. Super memory syndrome. It's practically impossible for you to remember what you did when you were in your mother's womb or even when you were just 1 month old. Well, for you, it is. But for someone with hyperthymesia, that's as simple as reciting A, B, and C. This disorder practically turns you into a super memory storage that can remember every detail of your life in 4K Ultra HD. It's like your brain has a save all button permanently pressed. Every day of your life would be accounted for in great detail, and your memory would be as clear and vivid as if it had just happened. You'll be able to recall the exact date, time, and minute of everything that happened in your life without even trying. And the crazy part is, you don't just remember the things that happened to you directly. You can also recall every single thing you see or hear. So while someone else is trying to remember what they had for lunch on Tuesday, you, with your super memory, would be able to recite the entire menu from your high school cafeteria, completely with the date for each food, the waiter's name, and the color of napkin and trays. Talk about a human encyclopedia. Savant Syndrome. So, you visited your new friend from school to play some video game. However, once you get to his house, he decides to show you around, and when you enter the garage, you notice the dusty old piano that's just been sitting there. Curiously, you wander over and hesitantly press a key. Suddenly, it's like a switch flips in your brain. You sit down and start playing a complex piece of classical music, nailing every single note as if you were Mozart himself. Everyone's jaw hits the floor, including your own, because you've never had a piano lesson in your life. In fact, you struggle to tie your shoelaces and need help remembering which sock goes on which foot. Well, this is a typical case of Savant Syndrome, a condition that gives you exceptional skill or ability in one specific area like math, music, art, science, or sports, even though you'll struggle with everyday tasks and social interactions that others find easy. It's as if nature decided to crank the volume of one ability up to 11 while turning everything else down to a whisper. Trichodento-osseous syndrome, TDO. Let's say you strictly avoid any situations that cause you to fight because the last time you fought with someone years ago, they literally had to drag him away with half his teeth missing after just one punch. And the other time, you mistakenly hit the table and it broke into two pieces like someone who is a black belt holder in Taekwondo. Well, this is because you have a rare genetic condition called trichodento-osseous syndrome that gives you bones so hard and dense they could probably break baseball bats and laugh in the face of car crashes. It's like having superhero bones, minus the cape and cool catchphrases. However, TDO doesn't just stop at making your bones super tough, it also gives your teeth, nails, and hair a makeover. First of all, the outer layers of your teeth, the enamels, would stage a rebellion and arrange themselves at odd angles, or sometimes they won't even show up at all. It's like your mouth is hosting its own little dental anarchy. Your nails, on the other hand, would be fragile, and your hair would come out kinky or curly and might be a bit sparse, like your scalp is trying to create a challenging puzzle for your comb. Hypohydrotic ectodermal dysplasia, HED. About 1 in 5,000 to 10,000 newborns are born with this genetic condition, which affects the development of sweat glands, hair, teeth, and skin. It's like your body hit the snooze button when it was time to develop some key features. If you have hypohydrotic ectodermal dysplasia, your sweat glands would either be MIA or seriously slacking off like your body's cooling system forgot to show up for work. Since your sweat glands are barely doing their job, your skin becomes so dry and thin, making it prone to rashes. Your hair isn't left out too, as it might grow sparsely, making you look like someone with a bad haircut, but forever. In some cases, you might not even have any hair at all, just like Mr. Clean. But on the flip side, you'll develop a natural tolerance to heat, making you less likely to suffer from heat exhaustion or dehydration. It's like being a desert superhero who can handle extreme heat with ease. You'd also have a higher pain tolerance than the average man. And although this doesn't automatically make you Superman, you'll still be able to handle discomfort and minor injuries better than most. Although this condition has no cure, the symptoms can be effectively managed with various treatment approaches to help you lead a healthy life like any normal adult. Hyperlexia. So, your mail came in and it's just the regular pile of bills for the month, so you just dump them all on the table without opening any. However, when you come back to the sitting room, your 2-year-old son is reading the bill like a college graduate. This surprises you because the only thing you taught him was ABCs, and he's not even been enrolled in kindergarten yet. To be sure you're not dreaming, you hand him the newspaper and he starts reading the whole page without stuttering. Well, the thing is, your child has a rare condition known as Hyperlexia, which is a type of learning disorder that gives kids between 2 to 4 years old the ability to read at levels far beyond their age range. It's like having a tiny, untrained librarian in the house. Hyperlexia is often accompanied by an obsessive interest in letters and numbers. So instead of playing with trains and toy guns, your child would rather have a dictionary and timetable booklet. You might even catch him spelling really big words and writing them in the air with his fingers. While the child might be able to decode or sound out words quickly, he may need help understanding or comprehending most of his reading. So he's basically just saying the words but has no idea what they mean, like a performer who got the script but missed the rehearsal. As for the cause of this reading disorder, it is still unknown, but some studies link the condition to autism, stating that about 84% of hyperlexic kids are on the autism spectrum. Synesthesia. Synesthesia is a fancy name for when you experience one of your senses through another, which simply means you can taste with your eyes, hear with your nose, or see with your mouth. While this totally feels like a psychedelic experience, people with this condition actually live like this. It's just like your brain is playing tricks on all your senses. One of the most common responses if you have this condition is that sounds like music or everyday noises would trigger vivid colors and shapes. It's like having an inbuilt light show whenever you listen to your favorite tune. Each word you hear or read would also produce a unique taste in your mouth. Imagine tasting chocolate when someone says delicious, or lemon when you hear sour. This would basically turn every conversation into a culinary adventure. This condition can enhance memory because you associate things to how they taste or sound. Remembering the color of a particular number or the taste of a specific word can make recalling information much easier. The cause of synesthesia is unknown, but it has often been linked to hereditary, which means that 4% of the global population with this condition were born with it. Tetrachromacy. It's a cool evening, so you and your friend admire the beautiful sunset. Your friend describes the sunset as a large, vibrant orange painting on the horizon, but you see way more colors than that. You start to point off the soft coral near the horizon, the vibrant tangerine in the middle, and the deep amber at the top. Your friend, squinting and tilting his head, still only sees orange. He looks at you thinking you're pulling his leg, but your expression shows you're dead serious, and you're even more surprised that he couldn't see the colors described. Well, you have a condition known as tetrachromacy, which gives you superhuman color vision that enables you to see more colors than most people. You see, most people have 3 types of color sensing cones in their eyes, but tetrachromats have 4 types. This extra cone allows you to see millions more color shades. If normal color vision is like having a box of 64 crayons, tetrachromacy is like having a box of 1,000 crayons. This condition affects about 12% of women worldwide, but it is extremely rare in men. So while your friends might just see a sunset, you experience a dazzling light show every evening, complete with colors they can't even dream of. Split brain syndrome. It's been 3 months since you had brain surgery to treat your epilepsy because it had gotten so extreme even your brain waves were throwing raves. The surgical procedure known as a transection of your corpus callosum involves cutting a bundle of over 200 million nerve fibers connecting your left and right brain hemispheres. Basically, your brain's communication superhighway took a detour. However, since the surgery, you have noticed that your body's left and right parts have been acting like they are in a sitcom. Like how you're trying to get dressed one morning, your right hand reaches for your favorite shirt, but your left hand has other ideas and grabs those embarrassing pajamas your aunt got you last Christmas. And another time when you tried to wear your pants, your right hand pulled them up, but your left hand pulled them down. If you're experiencing this, well, you have split brain syndrome in action, and it is caused by the surgery you had in your corpus callosum to treat your epilepsy. You see, the surgery divided your brain into 2 different parts, which caused the 2 halves of your brain to lose communication with each other. It's like you have 2 mini brains in your skull, each with its own agenda and sense of humor. Need to write an email and cook dinner at the same time? Your brain has got it covered. Sure, your left and right arm might occasionally play tug of war with your body. You can still function quite well, making everyday life a fascinating, if sometimes quirky adventure. Guess which other condition can give you superpowers? Well, joining our Discord server, of course. You'll be among the first lucky people to get exclusive updates, amazing deals, and all the exciting information. Echolocation. Imagine having a sense that lets you see using sound, just like bats and dolphins. There are a few rare cases of people who have the ability to do this by making clicking sounds with their tongues or by snapping their fingers. These clicks travel out, hit objects, bounce back, and give them an idea of their surrounding. If you're one of the lucky ones to have this ability, you become a walking radar, detecting obstacles and even identifying different textures. Click, that's a wall. Click, that's a fluffy dog. Click, oh, that's my annoying cousin. With echolocation, your spatial awareness goes through the roof because you can sense the size, shape, and distance of objects around you. It's like having a built-in GPS, but way cooler. Turn left at the sound of the bookshelf, proceed to the faint echo of the potted plant, and you've reached your destination, the fridge. Now, this condition is mostly seen amongst blind people who rely on their other senses to navigate their environment. The brain basically requires rewires itself after lots of practice and patience to interpret echoes, making you incredibly resilient and resourceful. Williams Syndrome. Have you ever met someone and it just looks like they were always happy? They are literally like a walking ray of sunshine, and no matter how bad the situation is, they always maintain a very bright smile and happy demeanor. Well, people like this may have a condition known as Williams Syndrome. If you have this condition, you basically have the superpower of social charisma. You're like the ultimate social butterfly with a PhD in friendliness. You can strike up a conversation with anybody, anywhere. If a person with Williams Syndrome goes to a bus stop, they would literally know everyone's life story, favorite color, and possibly even their pet's names. But it doesn't stop there. They would also be a music genius who can play any musical instrument or sing any song, even if you just hear it once. And here's the real kicker. They can also understand and share the feelings of others as if they have an emotional Wi-Fi connection. If a friend needs a shoulder to cry on, you're there. If they need someone to share some joy, you're the first person to celebrate. Your superpower of empathy and happiness makes you a true hero in the eyes of everyone around you.